Hello and welcome to the next video of my MSI 2023 preview series. MSI is only a few days away. Ranking the support players, going to look at some key stats and then look at their champion pools and go from there. Have a lot of new subscribers since MSI. Since this series began, have quite a few views. Just some things to kind of cover. One, I do not claim to be a data analyst. I love numbers, though. I do believe numbers are the truth to a degree. You can have opinions about players, and I do have my opinions about players, but when I look at numbers, numbers do not lie. Okay? Now, the reasons for why a number ends up being the way it is up for debate. But the number itself is true. This is what happened. Now, we have some situations where people say stats shouldn't matter or this or that, but then, there are mixed opinions even from that, thought process. I have some people that say, these numbers don't matter because of these other numbers. Okay, well then what about those numbers? What's going into those numbers? And dig deeper. But unless there are numbers to discredit these numbers, it's opinion, right? So that's the second part. My opinion on League is as like biases are concerned. I'm an Optic gaming fan. And you may say to yourself, how does that relate to League? Exactly. I do not have a favorite team. I do not have a favorite region. I view all of these players as best as I can the same. I do acknowledge I do not watch minor regions. I do, if I have nothing else to do, I watch the Vietnamese finals and things like that. But I do not watch Latin America. I do not watch Brazil, PCS, LJL. Or most cases Vietnam, certainly not LCO, but I do watch every game of the four major regions, all four of them. I do not have a bias for the LCK or the LPL, LCS, LEC. I do not favor one, and I think you can see in your viewing habits if there is favoritism, even to some degree. So with that in mind, that's kind of where I come from when I look at these numbers and why I think the way I do, and I try and treat all players equally, regardless of where they come from, because I think that that's disingenuous. We say that some regions aren't as strong as others, but that doesn't mean that, you can discredit players. Like, I don't think that that's very fair. So, just kind of got that stuff out of the way. We have a lot of new subscribers, a lot of people that have their qualms with me, so I just want to make it very clear that's what I'm doing. Oh, and I'm keeping the whiteboard. A few people have suggested for me to edit content and this and that. That's what other YouTubers do. The reason why I made this channel was to be myself. If you don't like the style of content, that's fine. Thank you for stopping by, but the whiteboard is probably going to stay. No, that's all out of the way. Support role. So, KDA, the three strongest KDAs. Woody from PSG Talon, 6.6. He's like 25 years old. I don't really know how to feel about him because it is so late in his career before he's going to have a chance internationally. Harp, 5.9 from DFM. We've seen throughout this series that the Japanese players have dominated. Well, Harp isn't Japanese. He's a Korean import. The DFM roster has dominated the Japanese region. And then after that is Carrier, 5.8 from T1. Carrier is cracked. The three lowest we have On from BLG, 3.7. He is very coin flip. I am not a massive fan of On. I think he is the weakest player on BLG by far. Mickey X, 3.4 for G2. Dies quite a bit. And then Hilly. I don't think anybody needs me to describe Hilly. His stats speak for themselves. 2.5 KDA. KP, who is the most involved in their team's actions? Woody, 4 out of every 5 kills. Woody has his fingerprints on it. That's pretty big. Carria, 76.1, so just over 3 out of every 4. Carria is involved in kills. And then Huhi from Golden Guardian, 75.8. We look at the 3 lowest. Zin from Gam Esports, 71%. So you see there's not a massive gap between the 3rd highest and 3rd lowest. But then we get to the 2 EU supports. Mickey X, 66%. Hillisung, 62.6. So they are dying a lot and they're not involved in many kills. They go in, die, and somehow not get an assist. You could say they're skirmishing around the rift. Mickey's numbers, I will say, and we'll get to that eventually. Mickey has more of an excuse than Hilly, and thankfully with support, we have vision numbers here that we can look at. So that's a thing. Hilly at 62% though, like just over 3 out of every 5. Damage per minute. Who is dealing the most damage? Now, the thing is with this, with the support role, especially this past split, and we'll get into it with the champion pool section of this video. A lot of 80 carry supports early on. We had some enchanter action, and we had tanks at the end. So we had a mix of everything, pretty much. So whoever played more 80 carry supports are going to have more damage. Whoever played Heimerdinger more. But if someone played a lot of Braum, Nautilus, Leona at the end, their numbers are going to be low. So, Carria, 264 damage per minute. Mickey X, 262. Harp, 259. So those 3 dealing the most damage. 3 most passive, tanky, supports. On from BLG, 176. Seos from Brazil, 167, and Zin, 166. I'm not surprised by these 2 because, honestly, Zin and Seos match, I know Route definitely had very low numbers when it came to, I think KDA and maybe KP was good. Something was low that made me think that he wasn't aggressive in lane, but maybe it's just the constant, I have a lot of Brazilian supporters and subscribers who have made it pretty clear that Route plays pretty passively in the early game, and then in team fights he performs. So maybe not dealing a lot of damage along with the support until team fights. And then style might not have either with Gam Esports. So vision score per minute. Who's getting the most vision? LPL does not give us vision numbers, unfortunately, so missing and on are not included in this. Sven from C9 finds the most vision score, 3.58. That's a benefit of playing in away in bot lane that gets you a lot of prio, that allows you to go all over the place. You also keep in mind, Ashe really helped vision scores this past split. And then the other highest is Delight, 3.39 for Gen G. The 2 lowest are Zin at 2.7 and Lions, 2.68 for Rainbow 7 from Latin America. Wards placed per minute. So I'm assuming these are your standard wards with support item. Could be wrong, but that's my assumption. Mickey X 166. See, this is important. He's putting down a lot of wards. That's crucial. Words per minute, 1.66. So maybe not as involved, but finding vision at a high level compared to other people in his role. And then Carria, 1.58. Obviously, Carria is great at everything he does. The 2 lowest, Zin, 123, and Harp, 124. Vision wards per minute. I'm assuming this is placing control wards down. Carria 0.52, so 1 every other minute. And then Woody, almost 1 every other minute at 0.47. The 2 putting down the least are Hilly, 1 every 3 minutes at 0.35. And then Sven, 1 every 4 minutes, 0.27. The last vision stat is wards cleared. So how many wards do you clear a minute? Sven clears over 1 ward every other minute, and then Mickey X clears almost 1 ward every other minute. So Mickey once again showing up in the vision score, finding vision, eliminating vision. The two lowest, Hilly 0.34, so 1 every 3 minutes, and Seos 0.32, under 1 every 3 minutes. So those two not finding much vision. And that's what the difference is here when I look at these KP numbers and I determine what are you doing if you're not fighting. Clearly, Mickey placing wards down, eliminating wards. Hilly, not as much. So that's that part of the video. Now on to the ranking part, which is a great thing to do. It's very exciting. It's a good time. I'm just trying to pick a color here. I don't want to pick one that I've already got up there because then it makes this board a little bit more confusing for everybody. Like I said, full disclosure, I don't watch minor region, and there are 3 supports at this event I've never watched at all. I watched Zin. Let me rephrase that. I've watched. That's actually a lie too. The only one I haven't watched is Lions. I watched Seos last. No, was JoJo with Cheeton, or was JoJo with Brantz? I want to say Seos because now they're together, right? Brantz and JoJo. It's confusing me. I may have watched Seos play. That's not going to change much in this, to be honest. Zin, I've only watched 1 series. So, and I've definitely not watched Woody. See, this is what it is, disclosure. We disclose our biases. It frames things so you can better understand where somebody is coming from and whether to care or not, I guess. We're going to go Lions last. I know this player is very raw. They've only played like 1 split. So, this is a big moment for them. Good luck. We're going to go Seos, Woody, and I'm just assuming Woody based off of those 2 numbers there. I really like those numbers. Now I'm trying to determine how I feel about Huhi versus Harp. We're going to go Zin 10. We're going to go Huhi 9. Harp 8. I'm not going to be able to give you a real good explanation for that. Somebody said I was really underrating Stixay yesterday. Are we going to just disregard the last 7 years of Stixay? Let's be real. So, with that in mind, no offense to Stixay and Hui, you made it to MSI, but I'm also not going to go and change 7 years of thoughts based off of a month and a half, 2 months. I think that would be silly. Now, Hui's 9th, Harp's 8th. Harp's looked good internationally for years now. Now, next is tough because Hilly can be 7th. Very, very easily. He can be 7th. I think anybody that's truly honest about it, Hilly could be 7th. He could be worse than that. He can be the worst player on this board if he really wants to be. Now, if he wants to be really good, I could probably put him 4th. And that's saying a lot, right? I haven't been allowing... I don't believe I put any player in the top 4 outside of LPL and LCK. And I actually am willing to say Hilly on a good day probably could crack 4th. So, with that in mind, I don't know really where to put him. We also have some players here that have never performed internationally in Delight and On. We're going to go Hilly 7th because that's the middle. If Hilly does great, great, but bet money on him doing great if you truly think that, so we know that you're honestly commenting about Hilly and how good he is. Do it legally, and then hopefully you win money. Hopefully you're right, and if you're wrong, well, think before we, really think about it. Hilly 7th. Sven is 6th. Anna's 5th. This marker is dying. I'm moving this microphone back. Mickey's 4th. Shoot. Delight 3rd. Missing 2nd. Carria 1st. If you're new to the channel, you won't know, but I think, well, I've for years had Chovy as my top player in the world. I think Chovy was the best player in the world. Worlds kind of soured that for me. I finally said, okay, I've had enough of your shit. And I really liked what Chovy did this past split and became a more complete player. I think that has really helped. Carria, though, is the best player in the world in my opinion. A lot of people say, oh, he's a support, he can't be the best player in the world. Played Camille support, so he could theoretically probably play top lane if he wanted to. Oh, he played Lee Sin jungle. Sejuani, no, sorry. My apologies. Lee Sin support. Sejuani support. He could probably play those in the jungle if he wanted to. Mid lane, I mean, he's played Rumble. His Rumble looked okay. You could play that in mid lane. You could play. We've seen Knight play Lee Sin in mid. I'm not saying his Carria's Lee Sin is as good as Knight's, but it's been there before. Sejuani's being picked mid. Nautilus was picked mid at one point, right? So let's think about that. 80 carries. We played a bunch of those this past split. Looked pretty good on him. So in my opinion, Carria can literally play any role in the game if he wanted to. And he is exceptional. So Carria's 1st. That's it for the rankings of the supports. Now on to the champion pool differences. Okay, so this board here, very large, like top and mid. Not as bad as mid, but it's full, right? All the way over here, really my shoulder is probably going to block some of these X's. We have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, roughly 30 champions up here. Missing's 3 most commonly played, Lulu, Ashe, Rakan. Uniqueness, what was unique out of his champion pool? Nothing really. He played Lux, slightly over half the teams. Yeah, 7 of 13 played Lux. That's his most interesting champion he chose. Yeah, so Lux is Caitlyn Lux. I mean, everybody knows that. So I guess Missing's champion pool, not very special. On from BLG, he played Rakan, Nautilus, and Nami the most. Uniqueness, he played Blitzcrank, Pike, and Caitlyn. So those 3 are something that not many people played. Carria from T1, we have Ashe, Nami, and Thresh is his most played. He did not play Heimerdinger, despite everybody else playing Heimerdinger. Unique champions, he played Caitlyn, Kalista, Jhin, Varus, Senna, Twitch. That's a lot of 80 carries. Braum, Sona, and Soraka. Or a couple other champions he played that not many others did. Delight from Genji. We have Lulu, Rakan, and Karma as his most played. The only person to have Karma in their top 3. Did not play Renata. Only he and one other person didn't. Unique champion-wise, he played Kalista as well, and J4. So Kalista, Jarvan, and Pantheon. Hillisang from Mad Lions. We have Nautilus, Thresh, and Rel. Yes, we saw a lot of Rel, right? So one of his most played. And he is one of 2 players to even play it at all. He also played a bit of Soraka, Braum, and Pike this past split. Mickey X from G2. Heimerdinger, Nautilus, and Thresh, his 3 most played. He did not play Yuumi or Annie. Not many people. Yeah, that's Mickey. Thought I was talking about Hillising, but I just did. So, like I just said, Mickey, Heimer, Nautilus, and Thresh. Uniqueness, he didn't really play Annie. Only he and one other person didn't. Uniqueness for Mickey, he played Senna, he played J4, and he was the only one to play Talia support at this event. Excuse me. Sven, most played. Lulu, Heimer, and Nami. Did not play Yuumi, one of only a few players not to do that. One of a couple players not to play Nautilus either. Some uniqueness out of Sven. Callista, Braum, Soraka. That's his unique picks. Huhi from Golden Guardians. We have Lulu, Rakan, and Nami. Uniqueness out of Huhi. Played Caitlyn, Soraka, J4, Rel, and was the only person to play Amumu. No. Mickey played Amumu. My apologies. Mickey played Amumu. No, he didn't. Damn my lines. He's one of 2 people to play Amumu. This is what happens when the meta is not stale in a role. We have so much shit on this board. So that's the way this goes. Woody from PSG Talon. We have Lulu. We have Nami and Thresh. Uniqueness out of Woody. We have Sona. Sona is Woody's unique pick. Zin from Gam Esports. We have Rakan, Heimerdinger, and Nautilus is his most played. Some uniqueness. Played Braum, played Alistar, and played Morgana. So Alistar and Morgana are a couple of really unique picks. Only minor region players played them. Harp from DFM. We have Rakan. We have Nami and Thresh. Some uniqueness out of Harp. We have Morgana and Jin as a couple of unique picks for Harp. Seos from Brazil did not play any Lulu. The only support with no Lulu games. Ash, Nautilus, and Nami, his unique picks. He also, his most played. Unique picks, Amumu and Braum, it looks like. So one of the person joining Huhi on Amumu is Seos. Lions from Rainbow 7. Lastly, he played Rakan, Renata, and Nautilus. 3 most notable champions. The only person I have with Renata as an Orange X. Uniqueness out of him, he played Alistar. He also played Rel. So Alistar, Rel, and Jin are 3 unique champions that he played. He also played Pike and Blitz. So yeah, so there were a lot of supports picked, a lot of diversity in the support champion pool this past split. So that's it for the support rankings. Later on today, because I don't work today or tomorrow, I'm going to have the 13.7, 13.8 video combined go up. I'm going to try and record the 13.6 video. I might skip it, honestly, because only the LEC played on it, and really there's not much to talk about. That'll be a really short video. Someone asked when I'm doing team rankings. I do not rank teams. My MSI power rankings, I guess, were the last rankings that were done before the playoffs in Vietnam. my predictions. I don't want to do power rankings because then it's just like, these are my predictions. Everybody has tier lists and shit like that. I don't really, if you want to do tier lists on the Discord, you can. I don't do tier lists. So my prediction video will be out Monday. I'm probably going to record it tomorrow. But yeah, so that's it for now. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, like it, subscribe to the channel for daily League of Legends content. Follow me on Twitter, join the Discord, become a YouTube supporter. And thank you for watching.